Okay, everyone, we are here. We are with, again, Cars Casually. We have Chris, we have Nix, we have Paolo, we have G. G is in the house. G is Gerard. For those of you that do not know, he now has an internet nickname. And one of us is going to become a meme soon. We'll find out who that is. Okay, today we are talking about... Chris is worried because it's him. We're talking today about the Honda City, the little big car that is making a big deal now. We have tested it. We have driven it. We like it. I got to say, I was a little bit worried because the Honda City, I'm going to keep messing up and calling it a Civic. And there's a reason for that. The City, when I first got involved with it, was early in the C days, C magazine days. And I really, really liked it because it was this little car that did everything right for its range. I actually thought it was a better car in a lot of ways than the Civic. Also, there's a point to the fact that the car was actually sized the way the first Civic, which wasn't even called the Civic, was. So anyway, so I was initially very wary of this car. Turns out I had nothing to worry about, and I liked it. And so did the guy. Okay, so now we're going into it. The new Honda City, we have tested it. We like it. And this is what I like about it. I like the first one because the very, very earlier ones, when they drove up, I felt that they had a look that was kind of all their own, and I just liked it. I felt that it brought value to the consumer. The ones prior to the newest one that we are showing you right now, I didn't fall in love with as much as I did those other ones. And I'm happy to say that the new one, I did like the minute it drove up. I liked it a lot. And Nick's explained why. It had to do with the way the lines went and they were straight rather than slanted and so on. All that he will explain to you. I just liked it a lot more. I liked the way it drove up. Interestingly, what I liked about the very, very first City was that it kind of reminded me of Mercedes. And this one, the newer one, kind of reminds me of BMW. I don't know if that's completely off or not. It's just my own personal opinion. Anyway, so we are here talking about the new City. We are doing this in collaboration with Honda because Honda believed in us. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. So without further ado, let's go into it. I was driving it with Chris and with Nix. Nix, your turn first. Tell us what you think about the car.
Actually, I was going to say Mr. G first because he has
Mr. G. He's not okay. Is he G or Mr. G? That's the question. Mr. G is a G-Shock. So is he Mr. G or G? What's his name?
Mr. G makes it sound like a Tito.
Mr. G. Okay, then it's G.
Here's
a question. Here's a question Paolo brought up. So it's his fault now. Paolo, is the City a Tito car or not?
Definitely. I love the City.
Okay, Paolo's safe for another week. Okay, so G, tell us about the City.
Yeah, the City. Basically, it first entered the Philippines in 1996. I remember that because Honda really made a big splash with it. It came at the time when econo cars were basically small engine versions of like the Corolla, the Lancer. The Corolla and the Lancer. But the Civic had more advanced engines with 1.5 liters and all. But if you wanted a 1.3 liter car, you had those offerings. But here was the City with available electronic fuel injection, front power windows, and it had an identity all its own. It wasn't a watered down compact car. So yeah, it was the very first one of its kind. Way before, can I say it? The Vios came. Yeah. The Vios came in 2003, I think. So 1996 at that time. And it slowly evolved. For the facelift of that generation, they already introduced VTEC into the mix. And then
So prior to that, there's no VTEC, and then they introduced it.
No, it was just basically programmed fuel injections. Honda. Yeah, and then but you already had front power windows, power locks, and then it was basically a very decent city car which could go on the highway if you wanted it to. But the second generation was even better because they had the twin spark ignition, the IDSI, and then the look, which was a love it or hate it kind of look. I don't know if you guys remember that in 2003 or 2002. Yeah.
Okay,
Only the big trunk.
I was 10 years old when that came out.
Here we go again with the age.
He cannot compute for his age now.
I really like the first City.
Yeah. It looked like Voltus 5.
I really like
So
It's fine.
at 10 years
You know, we
old,
should bring
you're
up a
able to
picture.
remember.
You should bring up
yeah,
a picture of what Jared is talking about.
Yeah.
2003
Yeah,
City.
and then the third generation, which we had actually the first facelifted and the third generation and the fourth. In fact, when we got the third generation, I was thinking for just two generations, it was such an improvement over the first one because while the first one was good, it was very basic, bare bones motoring, but the third was it had paddle shifters, it had
That's right.
yeah, 5-speed automatic and then VTEC, and the works. And then the fourth generation, which
Interesting.
we got in 2015, had push button start, reverse camera, Bluetooth connectivity for the infotainment touchscreen, display, and all that. Oh,
This
and
is what you're talking about, Jared?
Gerard,
This is what
the
you're talking about. The love it or hate it design?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
I like it.
And then, the fourth one also had the touch panel aircon. So slowly but surely, it evolved over the generations, which, for consumers, was also a good thing because it is arguably, if I'm not mistaken, the best-selling nameplate of Honda to date, at least in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
I see
So
the
there.
resemblance though with the current one, this line over here.
Diba? It's
Straighter.
So it shows the
After
current
a
one
while-
since we've completely forgotten
Okay.
about it. We're talking about this. We're like, oh yeah, there's a new car. Okay.
Yeah, we have
So
we have
okay,
current
so we
one.
actually did drive the new one. We're not talking about everything from 20 years ago.
No,
Sorry,
no.
guys.
Yeah, this is an intro,
my fault.
basically. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there. So we did drive
Here
the
on.
new city, and here it is.
There, look at that line. The one there. It's
Oh yeah.
There
because
it
the
is.
previous one it's very angular. Now I think they went back to that
Yeah.
straight
They,
line.
they did.
Yeah,
They did become angular and a
yeah.
bit too, yeah.
Really nice. And that's Chris there, by the way, in the car. Grumpy because I was telling him to turn around the car numerous times.
Can you show me the other angle you showed, Nix?
Which one?
The other one, the one you were talking about, the one you were so proud of. Can you show that to us?
The
please?
moving shot.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one. Wait.
There. See, I haven't in a while liked the way the city looked. I felt it was trying to fit in too much to the city car type thing, but I like the way this one looked.
Yes.
So I really
Yeah.
did like
This,
it.
I think, if before was a love hate, I think everyone's gonna like or
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Actually, the
I liked
second generation, I actually liked it. I mean, it had a look all its own, which is, pretty cool. That's how
And
it
this
should
one
be
even
naman.
more. Like,
Okay.
parang like when you see let's say the Vios and they have their own designs, but they look similar with everyone else. This one
Yes.
looks different in person.
And it
That's
seems
good.
like Honda is changing their design language a bit because I'm seeing some similarities here to the spy shots that I've seen of the upcoming redesigned Civic.
Yeah.
There are some
Yeah.
similarities there. So it looks like they're
Really? Like
changing
what?
their design language. The grille, the front end looks
Okay.
similar, but I'm basing it off spy photos. So I mean, it's not going to
Anything
be
can happen.
yeah,
You
anything
won't
can
really know
happen.
until,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after seeing the city, I started to see okay, this is where they're going, and it looks great. I love it. I love the design actually.
Actually, what's this again? Like in the group, the first one to see it's actually Paolo.
That's true.
Yeah. Last year I was at the Thailand Motor Expo. That was around late November.
November.
So
Yeah.
it was the global launch of the city. So I had the chance to see it in the metal.
You
Let me
have
just
photos
share a
of it?
photo with you guys. Yeah. Hold on.
I remember when Paolo came back, he was like, "Oh my God, Dix, the new city." He was raving about it in the office for a good 2 hours, man.
It was the
But
highlight.
when
of
I
my
saw the
trip.
photos, yeah, but because and then when he showed me the photos, I'm like, "That's a good-looking car."
Mhm. It is. It is.
So here it is with the
There you
executives
go.
from Thailand.
Mm.
Yeah, and then they had the different variants. This one was a mod. The one I'm gonna share now is a modular variant. So it had a different bumpers.
Ah.
Yeah, it's called the City Modulo.
Oh,
That's with the modulo aesthetics.
Yeah, I also have a rear shot.
But the one we showed previously, the one that we actually drove, is the RS variant, which is the top
Yeah.
of the line
Yeah.
one with the corresponding body kit.
I wonder if they'll
Yeah.
bring the modular though.
Well, can you show us?
addresses to a
Okay.
certain market.
So going back to the one we actually drove, what were the variants again? I only drove the RS, but you guys
Okay.
drove the other ones. And Nick, you
Basically
were
3
going
variants.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
have photos of all three. Like Honda was really kind enough for us to have all three. So
Okay.
we'll start with the S. This is the
Okay.
S. So this is
See,
the
I like the
entry-level
way
one.
it looks. I really do.
I know.
It's
Yep.
not too bulby. It's got some energy to it.
For a subcompact,
Yeah.
it looks so
Mhm.
fresh because
Yeah.
it doesn't look compact. It looks like stretched out in a good way. That's why
Yeah.
when you mentioned it, you had the BMW vibe. I agree with you because they're playing with
Okay,
the
so I'm
length
not the
of the
only one
car.
thinking that then. Okay,
No.
good.
No.
Well, it's funny because we call it a subcompact, but its size is actually very
Compact.
similar to last generation compact cars.
Yeah.
The
That's
subcompact class is growing, so it's not
Mhm.
exactly. I don't know if we should change the terms but size wise, the current this city is very close in size to the last generations of Civics. So
Yeah.
if
Well,
not bigger,
you were saying it was longer.
I
right?
was, but by a few millimeters, give or take. But
Okay.
I mean, very very similar.
But
So
like, were any of you able to sit in the back? I mean,
Yeah,
how's your
I
rear?
was.
Yeah.
I sat in the back,
Ulterior.
having set it up for me in the front, and I was fine.
Hmm.
I
Right.
wasn't cramped at all. I mean, Nick's,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts? Because you're a little bit larger, but
Little,
How do you
little
feel?
bit. Little bit. I'm the largest in the group by like what? How many pounds? Anyways, but the back's really spacious.
No, but
And it's coming from a big guy. Like
yeah, even
can
the current
imagine-
generation, yeah, was
oh, that's
already.
right.
Ano, yeah.
Even the current generation. I'd agree.
Yep, it is. It is. Even the generation before that was already pretty good. We had that
Yeah.
too, so it's pretty good. So I'm imagining they'll stretch it out about a lot more.
Yeah. But the overall design's fantastic. Like you
Oh,
can
yeah.
see that as a base design that they were planning that, to span it to 3 variants. You can see that they perfectly planned it.
Mhm.
which variant is this?
This is the
this is the
entry
base
level.
model, the
S.
entry level
S.
S.
All right, and then what was the
Jeric,
next one up?
Sige. The next one is the V. So this is my personal choice. I'd get the V.
Mid range, yeah,
Yeah. So
Why?
you have,
What does it have that the other one doesn't?
What are the differences?
yep.
Okay,
And like
so-
in terms of
I know.
features.
Okay, wait. I'll show the S. So this is actually 15-inch wheels, and then this one's 16-inch wheels. Like it's hard to tell because of the design of the 15-inch wheels, but yeah, like this is bigger wheels. I like it's more elegant. Has the nice chrome bumper, and
It has chrome door handles also, no?
yeah,
Mhm.
body color. If I'm not mistaken.
Body
Body
color.
color.
I know,
And if you
tama
guys-
ka. Chrome,
No.
chrome.
It's chrome.
If you
it's
guys
chrome.
watching want an even more detailed description of the variants, Nix did a very comprehensive video
Yeah.
that enumerates the differences between all the variants in the range. So look out for that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Chris
but
is
his
my
cameraman just really wasn't up to spec. Dude.
Whoa,
He had
whoa,
a cameraman that
The
just was
camera
not
work
working
in
out.
particular, I think, was award winning.
Yes,
So-
it was. It was. He gets the Chris Award for facial hair. So no,
Christopher
it
Nolan would
was.
have been proud.
It was well, actually, do check it out because Chris and Nick's worked very hard on that one, and it was fun because I watched them and made comments as they did it. So I had fun too. Anyway, okay, wait. If the what size are the wheels on the base model?
15,
15.
and then to 16.
This has a 16. What's the RS?
Yeah, the RS is 16 also, but like okay, let's go to the RS. But it's a better design.
Different design, yeah.
Okay,
But
now
then
Chris,
look,
you drove the
Dora-
different cars, and you said there was a
Yeah.
marked difference between the 15 and the 16. Correct?
Oh yes.
I wouldn't say it negatively affected, but there is a difference. The ride on the RS felt more planted, but with that comes you feeling the road more. But that is, I'm not saying in any way that it's uncomfortable. In fact, all of them were very comfortable to drive. But the lower variants, as you go down the variants, you start to notice it gets a bit more spongy. The ride becomes softer. Yeah, but the RS definitely feels more planted.
Okay.
But there are no differences between the suspension. It's really just the tires
They're
and
mechanically the
and the
same.
wheel size. Yeah.
Which would have
How
been
about
your choice?
inside?
Value wise, I would have the same choice as Nick's. I would go for the V. It's a nice
Yeah.
mix between features and price. But the RS, I mean, look at that black grille. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
With
Plus the interior.
fog
lights.
You guys were quite
Yeah.
impressed with the
Oh yeah.
level of detail, the interior for things
Yeah.
like the leather
Mm.
on the
Yeah.
RS.
If Nick's can bring up the interior photos of the
yeah.
RS.
Quick mention
would-
before we go inside the car. So the RS has the new headlights. So this is LED.
Yeah, I noticed.
LEDs,
Yeah.
na?
And
Yeah.
so for me the sad part was na parang the V and the S they share the same
Projector
halogen
type.
projector headlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I guess
So it's only
because also
RS
they
which
want
LED.
they want to separate the cars. They want to make
True.
them also distinct in price and features. So
Mhm.
makes sense. So okay, let's go to the interior. Let's start with the S.
Okay.
Start with the S. So yeah,
It's a
so
huge screen.
it's plain Jane. So
Yeah, so this is the
We're
entry
we're
level.
back to discussing screens with Paolo.
There we go.
yeah. So no buttons here. So no
Okay.
cruise control. But you have at least you have controls for the like infotainment system and stuff.
So there's
Oh,
nothing
yeah,
on the right side
nothing.
of that wheel. Wow.
Yeah, but
Just the left side lang.
no, but you know, yeah. So, but just to put it in there, all variants come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Counter-
Plug in, right?
Plug in.
Wired.
Yeah, but
Plug in,
still.
yeah, wired.
Wired.
Right.
Yeah.
This is
so
the
plug it in
base. This
there.
is the entry level S variant. So pay attention to the details like the wheel and the gear shift
Yeah.
knob, and you'll see the
Yeah,
difference in
yeah.
materials that they use as we go up
Yeah.
on the range.
And,
And then-
all the aircon controls are knobbed, which we like.
Knob,
Yeah,
they go
And
back knob.
while it doesn't have
Good.
knobs for the audio, it does have push buttons for the audio that are separate,
Good.
which we like as well. And this is
Yeah.
the
Oh,
base
it's
model,
really good.
right?
Yeah. Then
So,
Yeah.
the center console's also different when you go up the different trims. So
oh,
pay
we
attention.
really like the fact that we actually have a handbrake.
Oh,
yeah.
they went backwards.
An actual mechanical handbrake.
Good, we like it, and
Even for
just
the RX? Even for
everything. Okay, and
Okay.
okay. The reason
Oh,
I like
that's
it is because
amazing.
this
Yeah.
just a quick note. Driving this car is actually fun. It feels light. It feels tossable. I wanted to bring it onto the racetrack where we had it. We had some. We could have done handbrake turns where we were if they had allowed it. So I quite enjoyed it, and I think that's why to me. And remember, the City was the car we used for a lot of our off-road experiences and so on, and we were using those handbrakes. So the fact that this still has a handbrake, I actually very much appreciate. I don't think it's a
Well,
negative at all.
I don't know, Carl, if you remember, they had a City Media.
That's the one.
Yeah, the race. The race.
Yes,
before,
that's
right?
the one. We use
Yeah.
those cars for our own stuff as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's a nice matchup.
The first
I
gen
just-
City.
Yeah.
Yep.
So to me, this is great. Sorry. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed the car.
Okay.
I enjoyed driving it. So
We
Okay.
tore through those cars in the rally,
Yes,
the C
we
rally
did.
experience.
Yeah.
we did.
And
Thank
they
you,
took- they
Honda,
took a
for the
beating.
opportunity.
That's the thing. And they took a beating. They were tough and they kept on
Yeah.
going. They were these
Yeah.
great
Yeah, that's
little
what I
cars and they were so
I
balanced.
remember
That's why, in a lot of ways, I like the City for a while more than I like the Civic because I just felt the City was this balanced little car. And I'm really, really happy that this fifth generation is as balanced as the way I remember, even though it's, as Chris said, it's larger, right? It's larger than, it's about the size of a Civic from a generation ago. So,
Mhm.
it's still managing to be this nice, light little car. So there. Anyway, I
Jumping
digress.
to-
Back
yeah,
to you.
So
Jumping-
moving up,
We should make a shirt. I digress. Jumping to the V. Jumping to the
Alright.
V. Okay,
I
so
can see the difference already on the steering wheel.
diba? Okay, so just for the audience, this is the S. Okay, jumping to the V.
this is the
3,
S
2,
middle variant.
this is the V middle variant pala.
Sorry. This is the V middle variant. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. That's the V. Okay, so the
No,
stock
That
is
does
here.
look nice.
That's the V.
Yes.
This is the
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
that's the V.
I was right. That was the S. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a huge
S,
difference. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, Paolo, how about you mediate between those two?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the V. This is the V. It has a leather steering wheel. It has like a nicer looking dashboard.
Mhm.
Like
Cruise
the aircon
control.
vents has linings na nga.
Yeah. See?
Right.
Notices. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see the
then
details there.
I
You
love
see the
I love
details around the gauges on the instrument
Yeah.
cluster.
Mm.
You
Yeah, there's a
see,
Is it
you
silver
notice
lining.
the air conditioning
Silver.
knobs are now climate control with the auto climate control
Wow. Okay.
button.
Yeah.
You
That's
see the
cool.
push
My
start
favorite
stop
button.
button.
They
Wait, did
both
the
What
S
have
size
have
it.
is the
a? Okay,
screen?
that's right. That's right.
There. There.
Yeah, because you
And
keep
also see the
changing it.
center.
Okay, yeah.
The V has a different center console. It has a nicer lining. Is that white or like cream?
Yes. You know,
I like
yeah,
that
you
touch.
noticed.
Yeah.
Boom.
So you see
I
the
remember this
padding,
from the launch.
the
I was
extra
really impressed
material
with it.
there,
It
and on the
Yeah.
actually
doors
reaches
as
to the
well.
side wall. Yeah, I think I have a photo of that. If you note here, I've noticed there
Yeah.
the cream goes
Oh,
all
that's
the way
really
to the
nice.
side.
I love the
So
color scheme.
this is a great in between. I mean, it has a nice mix between the top of the line and the entry level. So I
Do any
expect
of
this
them have
to be the best seller.
Yeah.
Do any
And
of them
then
have power seats or anything?
okay, parang
Oh,
none of
No
them
power
had eh.
seats.
No.
No
Yeah,
power
Okay.
yeah.
seats.
No, but good trade-off in my opinion. Like if they
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
like more stuff. Okay, and then in the back you actually get air condens for this
Oh.
one. The S
Okay.
non
That's
Yeah, and
cool.
the
yeah,
S
for
doesn't
this
have.
size of
Cool.
car, that's not something you would get
yeah.
before.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
why like if you ask me, it's spacious enough that if you have to be chauffeured with this air convent here at the back, I think it's a good chauffeur car as well.
Mm.
Okay, back to the V front. But yeah,
What's the
like
size of the screen?
hmm?
Would you
Sorry.
guys know? The size of the screen.
It felt like an 8 inches, I think, somewhere there, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris would have the
Yeah. That's
numbers, but
about
it's
right.
somewhere there. Yeah, baka 8.3, somewhere there.
All right, so when you went to the RS, what were the differences then?
Okay, here we
Hmm.
go. Go. Okay, pay attention. So this is the V, right? Jumping to the RS. 3, 2, 1.
That's
Yeah.
oh look, that looked better.
You have the red
Yeah.
lining, red stitching.
So
Okay.
you see red
Yeah.
everywhere now. So
Red,
red
yeah, even here,
stitching.
red.
Okay,
red.
but that it was red, but the car was red. What if the car was a different color? Would they be matching it, or would they
I
all be red?
no, I think that
Can I
just
see the
like the
center
Honda
console?
Jazz. Here, the center. The center console. Yeah, it's different now. It's the one
Okay.
covered.
You see
Mm.
red
Yeah.
on the
Covered one.
red stitching on the seats also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red stitching on the gear shift, the gear selector,
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
and you see the pedals. That's unique to the RS as well.
Yeah.
The sport pedals.
Port pedals.
Really. That's the V pala. That's the V. I
It's the
apologize.
V.
Okay, you're confusing the viewers, Nick.
Well, V
Sorry,
has the
guys.
white details. Yeah, the
There.
V has the white details. The RS is a more black and red scheme inside.
You know
Sorry.
But
what's
it
what?
does come out. It does look. The RS does come out looking a bit sportier.
Yeah.
The gauges
I think it's
are
all-
no.
yeah.
This is interesting. This is one of the few cars we've had lately where the gauges they're not exactly the high tech screens that we've been seeing lately.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
but I like the clarity you get from it. Like they made it
Yeah, that was okay with it.
monochromatic and-
I was fine. And it was digital in the middle. It was just black and white, and so it transmitted information perfectly
Oh
fine.
yeah, another
You know?
another addition I forgot to add. It comes with paddle shifters, and
The RS.
that's on the steering wheel and not like on the stock. So when you
Yeah.
move the wheel, the paddle
This is
shifts go with you.
Exclusive to the RS or even the
Yeah,
BM? Oh, okay.
RS exclusive.
to the- okay.
But this one little detail I know it doesn't really mean much, but I like this implementation instead of the odometer stock. I like this implementation better. It's easier to find. Like you don't have to reach through the instrument cluster to change
Yeah.
the trip and the clock.
That's
a nice
the
touch.
technical. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's because
Small
it's
detail.
it's not digital. I mean, before it used to be a physical thing, right? And you would when you
Yeah,
push
yeah.
that, you would
You press it.
reset.
Yeah.
And then
No, but
when newer cars, they kept it there.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's what
So-
everyone's used to. But in reality, it doesn't need to be there. So you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a nice design touch. That's across the board.
Mhm.
And then the infotainment system, the others are blue. This one's red. I mean, design to
It has a different infotainment system now compared to the other Honda. So this is the first one because I know that the Civic and the CRV share the same screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
yeah.
different
Is it all
interface.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's a different interface.
For the RS, the rear of the RS gets this also.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you
okay.
jump up a trim,
Two
you
12
get
volt
that.
outlets. Yeah.
Yeah. So
which
even
one
more
has
rear driver friendly.
navigation system? Any
Uh,
of them have?
I'm not sure if this has a navigation system.
Oh,
but
okay.
But you
Oh,
know,
but
Yeah.
if you're
Oh,
running
yeah,
Apple
Android Auto and
CarPlay,
Apple CarPlay.
yeah, if you're running
then
Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, it makes it
Waze.
redundant
Yeah.
yeah,
because
I would
yeah,
rather
this,
not
True.
use. I'd
okay.
rather just use my phone.
The safe answer
True.
is all three of them use the same head unit. That's for me the safe answer. I don't
Mm.
know if like has navigation, but what I know that we were told was all the units, all trims have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay because they all use the same head unit.
Mhm.
And the reverse camera, I suppose.
Yes, all of them have reverse. Sorry,
no,
the
I
V
don't think the
and the
entry level
RS.
has a reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wala. But yeah,
See,
those
I'm
are like
borderline. You
the
guys both seem to like the middle variant. I'm borderline between the middle variant and the RS.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, the RS is a great choice. Honda has done such a good job of making sure that the city is not a watered down Civic, like
yeah.
Jared,
Mm.
Like
That's
G
true.
mentioned earlier, and they've done that. They've done that consistently through the
Yeah.
city's life,
No, here.
and which is why, if you guys remember, in our last conversation when we were picking between a top of the line city or an entry level Civic.
That's right.
Most of us
Yeah.
picked the city. And that's a testament to how well Honda equips their cars because they equip it so well that we would prefer the smaller car over the less equipped bigger car.
No,
And
here.
that continues with the city.
Yeah.
That's
The
If I
RS
remember,
in its top form is really well kitted. So I wouldn't blame anyone if they chose this over an entry level Civic.
Chris, I
Yes.
think we were the only two that chose the Civic at the time. If I'm not
yeah.
mistaken.
I think I chose I chose a Civic. You guys chose a City.
Yeah.
Did we choose the city, Chris? You and I?
Majority chose a city. That's what matters.
Yeah.
Majority chose the city. So I wouldn't blame anyone at all if they chose this RS over an entry level Civic because it's really well
Yeah.
kitted.
Our first gen city, even though with this, it was a city, it was supposedly an econo car. It felt really solid. It wasn't, the hollow sounding doors or anything. The build quality was pretty good for what it was at the time.
Definitely, this is a solid car. Also,
Yeah.
like safe. Like I spent like a lot of time with the interior, taking photos of all three. Well put together.
We
Like,
should mention that it carries over the engine from the previous model,
Oh, yeah.
from the
That's right.
previous
That's right.
1.5
generation. Yeah.
IV
Same
tech,
powertrain,
120 horsepower,
yeah,
118
but
brake
they
horsepower.
didn't need to fix what wasn't broken.
Yes,
So
exactly.
That's true.
But the transmission is still a CVT, I believe.
yes.
Yes.
Same one for him. Right.
How'd you guys like driving it? I mean, we know I liked it. I liked it a lot.
No, it was pretty good. Even the current, the outgoing one, it's pretty good.
No, but right now, Chris, Nix, you guys got a chance to drive it as well in a slightly different situation than I did. How did you guys feel about it?
I like how maneuverable it felt. Like because we were moving it around in small spaces, we were going through small roads, parking it. Sorry for the pun. It felt like a really good, if not perfect, city car for
City car.
2020.
Yeah.
Did you see? I
Because,
actually
like-
steered it. I did a full U-turn in that little circle with one finger just to see if I could do it, and it actually did.
Diba?
It's
Yeah.
got this great
Small
turning
turning
radius.
Yes.
Yeah, the turning radius is
It's got a
excellent.
good turning
yeah.
radius.
And the light steering really helps a lot. I can imagine it driving it around the whole day within the city and not have a problem. There's a driving wise, it's good. Really
Yeah.
good.
I'd have to agree with Nix. It presents a really good driving experience because it doesn't feel small and yet it does. I know that doesn't
Yeah.
make any
I-
sense.
It makes sense because it doesn't
I
like
get
it. It handles
Yeah.
like a small tight car.
Yes,
It
it
still
handles like a
handles-
small car should.
Yes. There's
But
not
then
a
when
lot
you
of
sit at the
excess
back,
weight. There's not a lot
Yeah.
of extra stuff
Yeah.
going on. We did some hard braking with it. We did some fast lane changes with it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It stayed pretty planted. It is clearly a front wheel drive car, and then we got a little. I mean, you could feel the back move, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. We were comparing it to what we did with the cars that didn't have stability control. It stayed within its lanes at 60 to 80.
You were
with
going
harsh
at 80 when you were swaying the car.
Yeah.
like,
No, but I mean, this is, and this was the key point. And this is what I came up with is, we have been, during the last several issues, what has come across is that people are buying new cars and they're buying smaller cars. And one of the key points here, and this is that if your kids have to go to school and they're going to college, you can't rely on public transportation. You can't rely on Uber. You can't rely on, honestly, you can't. I mean, as much as we would like to, you just can't. If you have the ability to put them in a car, fine. So the question is, what's the car? I got to say that right now, this car has moved to the forefront of my what should I buy a kid car, because you answer the issues of safety and security and so on. You answer the issues of, the problem we had with all the China brand cars, if you want to call them that, was that what's the track record? There's no issue here.
Yeah.
People arguably, and I agree with in a lot of ways, that they have, depending on the dealership, the best service available at this level. So, if you're putting your son or daughter all of a sudden into a car, whereas last year you would have thought they're going to take the bus, they can't do that anymore. This is a good choice.
Yeah.
This is my top choice, honestly, right now.
And it does come with traction control. It does come with
Yes.
6 airbags.
Okay.
6 airbags. Yeah.
6 airbags, traction control. So that's covered. Safety is covered.
Yeah. It does not have the emergency stop system. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't have Honda sensing.
Yes, it does not, and that's what made me break my neck when a cat crossed the road. But it's a good thing. Okay, it's really a good thing. So it doesn't have that, but it does have the other stuff, and I was quite happy with it. I clearly like the car. How did you guys feel? You were happy too. So
Yeah. I think
Yes,
it's a real
the question
winner.
now, the question boils now: if you were to pick a trim, what would it be?
Well, we answered that already, right? You and me would get the V.
Carl
Carl would
has
get
it
the
answered.
RS.
I did.
Paolo,
Oh, Paolo. Okay,
Paolo
Paolo.
has
What
it
would you
answered.
get?
I would take the V.
Why? Like, what appeals it to you? Because there's stuff missing. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
I
it's
don't-
missing. I think it's just not at that level.
It's just a
I wouldn't say it's
bonus.
missing.
It's
Yeah.
just a bonus to have the paddle shifters, the 12-volt sockets at the back. Those are just bonuses, but I have all the basic stuff I need. Actually, even the S already has it. When it comes to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, it has the same infotainment screen. But what I like about the V,
This has the LED and fog lamps, though. And I think I think the RS actually has more speakers.
I think
it-
6 versus 4.
No, I think it has 8. There you go.
Free.
Yeah, tweeter. See,
On the
more
price,
speakers. The RS
Yeah.
has more speakers.
Actually, I did like the system there. It's depressing when you get in this, because then I get back into my own car, which is nowhere near as modern as these cars. So.
This one's missing. The V it's missing.
okay. Well,
That leather
actually-
wheel feels really nice to hold, though, I have to say.
Yeah, you know what? And the size,
The
it was
material
sized
is
so
really
nicely.
nice. Yeah.
It was sized. It's a small diameter wheel.
Mhm.
Okay. But it fits the car perfectly.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives this little character to the car. And as much as I've never been a big Civic fan, for whatever reason, I like the Accord more. I like the City more. The Civic's never been that great for me. So to me, this is kind of the package I really, really like.
Yeah. And a bit of a flat bottom there, if you notice. That's a nice detail.
Yep.
But like, just a little touch on, like, diba, Carl was saying na the car to give to your kid to use. In that situation, if I know I won't be using the car as much, I'd actually give him the S. It's bare bone when you look at it in its trim levels, but I think that's more than enough.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Diba?
Mm.
Yeah.
More than enough.
And it has all the safety systems. It has the same safety systems across the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's fine. You're keeping them safe. You're keeping them.
Aw.
Yeah. The one thing, and we had this isn't a burner car, okay? Even the RS, and this is the one thing that kind of got to me, and it's because I really like the Civic RS Turbo so much. I think the Civic RS Turbo is this awesome car that comes in at this great value point. And everyone that drives it and tests it come away like, I keep forgetting how good the car is. Okay, so I was expecting a lot from this RS, from the City RS, and it doesn't have the turbocharger. It doesn't have an additional bump. Okay, it doesn't have an additional power bump. It's not a screamer car, so it's not a slouch, but it's not super quick either. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
just
not
keep
like the
that in
Civic.
mind.
Yeah.
It's not,
like the
and it's
Civic
not.
where it jumps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so don't expect the power bump from RS with that you get with the Civic. You're not going to get it, and you're not going to win drag races with this thing. You're not going to do that. But in general, would I like more power? Yes, always. Big surprise. But having said that, I really like the way this is balanced. I wish I had spent more time in the middle range car so that I could tell which one I would like more. I wish I had done that. You guys got to do that. I didn't.
Yeah.
So
For me, like being inside all three, for me the not only balanced but like the best experience interior wise was the V. It felt more elegant. That's why I'd go for the V.
see, you said that, but then you also said that the interior detailing in the RS was better. So I'm kind of torn.
Yeah.
Um,
Like the RS has better execution, but I just like the black and white and then the silver.
Basically, you just like the
chrome.
color scheme more.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Mhm.
It's a matter of taste.
Less
Um,
racy, more elegant.
Yeah, but that was a question
The
of-
type.
Wouldn't-
the one
wouldn't that be a question of color?
Out.
trunk shot.
Oh,
How big
is the
trunk
trunk?
shot.
It's got a pretty generous trunk also.
Cities,
500
cities have always
something
had,
liters.
That's
yeah,
right.
big
There was a big.
Yeah.
Rip
As
me,
Chris
no
kept coaching
pardon.
me.
I have so many photos.
And
Wait,
I can't remember the actual figure for the
500
trunk space,
something.
it's 540 something. Yeah,
Yeah.
which
That's
is
large.
pretty big.
And very
Um,
usable. I mean,
it's
you're not
actually
talking
Very
about.
usable space.
Yeah.
You
It's
can
not
you
like
can probably
little
fit
level.
two
pockets,
palos
right?
inside.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or maybe no, it's you. I can probably put Chi and Paolo there inside, and there's still room for other stuff.
Does,
Yeah.
does one G and one Palo equal one Nix?
No, I think I'm more. I think I'm more.
You realize we're setting this up for something, right?
You wanna go inside?
Oh yeah,
the-
another thing worth noting that I see here, you see the headrest in the middle.
Oh yeah,
That's yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The headrest
that's
in the
right.
middle and its own seatbelt too.
its own
on the
shoulder
second
belt.
row.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's not
Its own
something you
shoulder
usually
belt.
see in this segment. No.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the first I've seen so far.
Yeah.
That's
So
fair.
it's a real winner.
Grab like they really raised the bar in this class for sure.
But like here, this is a controversial question, but you guys who drove it, would you say that it's close to Civic levels of, driving and or
Compared to the current Civic, they're very different. Very different. Even the seating position is very different.
okay?
The Civic has you a lot lower. It
No,
feels
but-
more like a cockpit. Talking about the
in
Civic.
terms
Oh,
of
yeah.
refinement and
Yeah.
noise levels and all.
Oh, they're very
Uh,
similar in that sense.
Yeah,
in terms
that-
of NVH levels, in terms of
Yep.
Yeah.
build quality of the interior and the materials used, very
Yeah.
very similar. No compromises there.
There,
But
that's
driving feel is very different. The City very much feels like a city car,
Hmm.
while the Civic goes out of its way to make you feel like you're in a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Very low slung.
Yeah,
You're very ensconced by since
The car
you're
is-
lower,
yeah.
it feels like the panels are higher. The center console is higher, so it
Yep.
really feels like you're in a cockpit.
Mm.
The City is a more traditional
Sedan.
seating position.
City car. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to remember also because that Civic design also had to be applied to the Type R. So like
Yes.
there's a lot of designs that like culminated where it had to be by design a performer.
Correct.
That's why that's why the Civic now feels so good to
Mm.
drive. It's because
Mhm.
inherently by design, since it had to also fill the shoes similar to the Type R. It shares those properties. Like what Chris said, that it feels like a cockpit, low
Mhm.
riding, and all that
Yep.
stuff.
This new Civic, the current Civic, is actually the Civic I feel most comfortable in going fast.
Yeah, it's the best.
Oh,
At
yeah.
high,
It's the best
at high
thing.
speed. I like the Civics. They've never been my top choice. They're my family's choice, and my family loves them, and I love them for how reliable and maintenance
they
free
are.
they are.
They are. Yeah.
But they're not the type I would. They're just not my thing. The City. This is where I if I'm looking at a car that I would take that would move me away from the cars I currently drive, which generally are larger than they need to be, I would go for this. If I went for a Civic RS Turbo, which I really, really like, it's great, but I also have large cars that are powerful, so I don't need that. I would move to this because I could get the efficiency that I want. I could get the ease of city use that I want. So it'd be a different car. So there, I would like it.
Final thought. I have a final question before we if money was not a problem, would you get the
Which
would
it
you get
always
a
is.
which is always is though.
Yeah.
Civic or City? Would you get a Civic or would you get a City? Yeah,
I'd either
like,
get
you
a
could
Civic RS Turbo or I'd get this RS.
Money's not a problem. We get both.
Yeah, money's not
No,
a
no,
problem.
no, no. In other words, what I'm saying is,
Yeah, yeah.
I would get the Civic if I were getting the RS Turbo.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the level.
Same
Anything
here.
below
Same
that,
here.
I would go with the City, and not
No,
even
same
necessarily
here.
RS. I might get
Same.
the lower one.
Same here. Same here.
So,
You, Paulo,
Yeah.
would you?
If I would take the Civic only if I can get the RS Turbo.
Also.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
Paulo's
so-
raising his point level so much now. He likes wagons.
Yeah.
He likes
Yeah.
Good taste.
watches more
No,
than cars.
you,
There we
Chris.
go.
Money's
Yeah,
not
I
a
would-
problem.
I would get the RS Turbo, but the one thing that would hold me back is the city. This city actually has a better infotainment system. So if I see seeing what I see now when I look at the city and I see that really nice, elegant infotainment system, and then I look at the RS turbos, the Civics, it looks dated, and that would bug me. That would bug me. So I would actually wait for the Civic to upgrade that, and then I'd get whatever Civic that is.
You know the
Yeah,
answer
because
to this, of course. The Type R,
Well,
which is actually apparently on sale. Apparently, it seems.
yes, it is.
So
Are they still selling the Type R? I thought they
they're
sold
on
out.
sale.
Oh,
No, they
wow.
are.
Okay.
They got some good deals going.
Yeah,
I thought they
180,000.
sold out.
And that the
Okay.
Type R, that is a car that one of the few cars that would move me away from a Miata,
Yeah.
which no
Yeah,
one
that's a fair-
understands.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's just
that's fair.
it's just so good at what it is. It's so good at
Yes.
that very typical Japanese Civic front wheel drive performance oriented vehicle.
Yeah.
It's just that good.
Okay.
Okay,
But
going
yeah,
back to the city. Never mind now.
Yeah. No, but I asked that question just to show everyone that that's how well equipped this RS is.
It's not about equipped. It's about how well it is
Yeah.
as a holistic car.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah,
equipment.
yeah. No, but-
Take away. Well, okay.
No, wait, equipped and no, look at what happened. Like between the Civic and the City, you'd only decide to get the Civic if you're getting the RS, which is
The turbo.
mechanically different.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has a
But
turbo.
when they're
Yeah.
both NA, when they don't have that performance bump, everyone went for the City RS or the City in
Correct.
general.
Correct.
So that's why I asked that question because, like, when it comes to practicality, equipment, and overall, like what you said, the holistic package. Sorry for the pun again, guys, but the City is the perfect city car in
Yeah.
Honda's lineup.
Mm.
I actually can't wait to see what the Jazz will look like. That should be really interesting.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. So we
Jazz
have
boy.
again had differing opinions here about the new Honda City. I came into it kind of wondering because I wasn't all that enthusiastic about where Honda had been going with their City, and now I'm actually back in the saddle in terms of how happy I am with the City. We had differing opinions, as always, but we generally like the car. Anyone got any last comments before we say goodbye and make our jokes?
Bye. Bye, City.
Yeah, it was a
I
fun
can't-
car.
I can't wait for the Jazz. That's what I can't wait for the Jazz. Being a Jazz boy.
Well, because you have a Jazz and you like the Jazz, and the Jazz is perfect
Yeah.
for you. For you, it's
Yeah.
Jazz
But
or
then-
pickup truck.
Yeah, but this is the first time where I would be like, okay, City, you got my heart this time. You got
Yeah,
my heart.
actually, here's the thing. I would have agreed with you before with the Jazz. Now I don't know if I would agree with you because I actually like the way this thing looks.
But
So-
remains to be seen. I still have faith. in the
Yes,
Jazz.
it does. Chris,
Mm.
your call.
Okay, I gotta be honest with the viewers. At this point, we don't know how much this costs. So, as always,
Yes.
it'll boil down to how much Honda decides to price it. But if they price it well, if they price it even close to the current city's pricing scheme, I would say that this is probably the best in the segment. I would be confident enough to say that. Yeah, so hopefully, I mean by the time you're watching this, you already know how much it is.
Yeah.
But at the time we're recording this, we don't know how much it is. So it boils down to that.
All right. Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. Once again, this has been the Cars Casually Gang. This has been Chris. This has been Nix. This has been G. This has been Paulo. I'm Carl. Thank you very, very much. Stay safe, stay kind, and see you around. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Bye,
See you
guys.
guys.
Bye, guys.